everybody, how's it? Aloha. I had no idea when I just did that Halo gaming theme music track I just released. I had no idea the info cracking I would release with finding out not only did me just saying the word Periphery in that, thinking wouldn't it be great if a band like that did a cover, come to find out, not only have they, or I want to say Misha, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I don't know the names well. Mishore, but that he's a huge monstrous part of Periphery. Has contributed to games and other games, and then to come find out Steve Vai has done some stuff. So, you know, but it doesn't surprise me that the metal and subgenres of complex prog rock have, if not infiltrated, have been a mainstay feature in music for games because of the power of arrangements and stuff, and the instrumentation and the moving and just the whole energy of what it brings. Anyhow, but what ends up happening is I went, oh my gosh, I haven't done Reptile yet. It's been hanging out there. I know it's like a 17-minute track, so this is probably going to be a half hour long. So whatever you got going on, whether just take a deep breath of fresh air or go get that beer or go get that shot of how do you do, or pack a nugget in the machine, or a gram or two of incense. Sorry. Let's do this, guys. I'm lock and loaded. First, thank you so much for your support, comments, getting great comments, learning so much about the journey we're on through you. Thank you so much. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, because you guys all know my channel is still not monetized. They still haven't even sent me an email after I got past 100,000. Aren't I supposed to get like a ribbon or something, a reward or something? I don't know. And but I'm not monetized, so any ads that run, copyright claimed by the bands, the record companies, the owners of the music, they deserve to make a little muzzy money. But the link will be down here for their music, cup of coffee, and also that logo. I got merch. It's fun. All that money stuff goes to what I do with the kids too, and a link for that is down there too if you're just interested in. Yes, a lot of busy voices in my head. I got a board meeting constantly as a ventriloquist with all my healing dinosaurs. So, all right, guys, here we go. Periphery, Reptile. All right. All right, I didn't want to get too far away from the opening because I was still really the energy of that opening with the arrangements of the strings and stuff I was really still in the rinse of that, and even though as the progression of the song started building and changing, obviously in its texture, you know, when the singing came in and everything, I have never heard anything as wonderful as this in my tastes of what I enjoy with this kind of composition ever. I think when I was younger, if I ever had a dream to weave together classical composition style, you know, intros, hybrid compositions, I could not have thought of doing it any better than what I just heard. There's just no two ways about that. And this is my world, and this is what my, you know, exposure to the bands that I'm going through on this journey is yielding. I don't know how many other bands or artists have that similar approach, but okay, well, the one thing at least we can all dial in on is that it was in one, there was one pedaled note as a reference to us. Dun 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 dun, and whatever it is, that was still maintained there through that orchestrated or that string opening and arrangement and composition. So there's a familiarity, at least with that I felt like, okay, that's going to maybe turn into the chugging rhythm, or something like that might play itself into it, because I am obviously aware of the band and how they play and their musicianship and their engineering, and the whole thing is just, it's beyond next level. It's Third Eye Purple level, as you guys know how I like to say that very selectively. And then they get into the what is, I would say, more of the stamp of what Periphery is known for, and their, you know, musicianship and their technique and their riffiness. Because this is my first time listening, and because I'm really just kind of still viscerally infatuated with what I just heard, I haven't really allowed myself time to kind of break away and get into a little more of the depth of this. But there's just no two ways about it. I don't think in my soundtrack of life and in my experience and exposure to music have I heard anything that I thought was so wonderfully constructed as that first couple of minutes. It was just mind-numbing. And there's so much more to talk about. I think this is going to be a little longer than a 30-minute video, so I hope you guys are in for the ride. So here we go.
Fuck with his wages. You had the day, but you pissed it away. I think it's time to waste our ways. Now shed that violence all over. Let mayhem in the streets. Whoa. From mountaintop to oceans, we own your every need. It's coming down. With every breath that we take, we hear the sound. Somebody needs a reaction to stay on the ground. With every breath that we take, we hear the sound. Green-skinned apocalypse to die. Nobody hates the color fathers. These eyes, through these eyes. He braces the chin, he praises the weeds, holding out for the day he can face them. And every day that he trains is a slap in the face to the guys. Goddamn! Shut it.
I had to stop right there because I wanted to lean in for a stop. But I love the fact that there was that little blues riff that very that caught me off guard in a great way. Huge intervals in their riff writing. Remember, my channel is based on the pure listener. This isn't a yah-yah for pure people. You know, though I do sprinkle on theoretical stuff. This is about the pure listener who enjoys it. Why Are you loving the sound of certain tracks? That's what this whole channel's about. And when I talk about the word intervals, you may have, if you've been hanging around with me long enough, it's the spaces between notes that they would use. I don't have my keyboard. I'm learning how to hook all this stuff up so I can show samples one day. But it's the actual spaces between the notes. So I know you can't, you might be able to see if I take my 3 fingers and I put them here, those are very close in intervals. And if I can get the same effect by doing this, those are the same 3 keys-ish. I can't get, but that's a wide interval. And of course they will have different tonal values. And so these guys are classy everywhere. It doesn't seem like yah-yah overkill of, you know, fretboard gymnastics for those of us who are musicians. You know, we have our own little circle of, like, when we talk about, oh, did you see how you, you know. The bass and the drums synonymous with the bass of the track is just mind-numbing. I want to go back really quick to when they were going through that one phrase, which was like more like the power chorus, the richness in the background vocals, but how well they're tucked in the engineering. It wasn't an overwhelming thing. It was a great dynamic experience in here. And there was something else I'm going to say, but I'm having a little bit of a brain fart right now. Hang on. Anyhow, it happens with age. All right, let's keep going. All right, I want to bring back just this section here, though though it was once again the signature, or I can't say a signature because these guys are so eclectic and creative in their composition. There isn't a particular signature style in their arrangements, but the go-to still is the chugging on the one note. Obviously they changed. You saw me kind of going, wait, where is that? Is that 3/4, 6/8? Is that a, you know? And not trying to beat myself too much over it, but what I'm taking away from that whole passage we just heard, I want you to listen to, when you go back to it and listen to it on your own, listen to the chord pads they're playing behind with this kind of silvery pad in the background. It's not a string sound. They're not trying to be anything that they're not, but these long padded chord changes that are happening here, still maintaining that bottom end, that drone or that, pedaled note that's playing in the chug. Listen to that. That is such an important part of that passage there that keeps me, maybe you, kind of gliding on the journey. It's not like we've hit this wall of intricate composition and rhythmical arrangement, but part of layering, part of presenting a song are the nuances of the things that the pure listener doesn't necessarily take notice of, but is an important part as the arranger and composer, as they put that in there, put in if they want to make sure that you continue in a forward motion in your journey. So these chord changes that are going on through here, even though there's that pedaled note, that chug that's happening there, while the lead singer is doing his performance, it's really. I try not to cuss. It's really freaking cool. It's just mental. All right, here we go.
The good that's left and all we cherish stands to die. Is this the end of all we know? The Is this the end of all we know? Wasting our lives for Rich, poor
All right, it's time. I got to goober over the vocalist. What an amazing voice! As I'm listening, there's no two ways about his capabilities is astonishing. Okay. Now I'm listening as an engineer, and I'm hearing maybe some post effects. When I say that, it has nothing to do with his ability and the notes that he's hitting. These post effects are not to make him tonally better performance on this recording. The post effects I'm talking about sound like there could be some, slight chorusing and doubling that's happening, and maybe a little fun with some compression and some EQing and stuff. I'm sure he has a natural sizzle to his voice, but what an incredible range. I mean, I don't know that one passage where there was the talking and stuff going on. I don't know if that was him, but he's just got an amazing, amazing, powerful, passionate reach in his voice. And also the arrangements. I mean, I'm sorry, this is why this video is going to be a little longer than I hoped, was because this journey for the last 3.5 months for me has been really new. I've been in my bubble. I'm just a media composer, right? I mean, but I've loved rock, and then I decided to do one video, and now look where I'm at. And I'm having such a great time, but I don't know enough to say things that I want to say, so that's why I'm going to put this out there kind of like a tell me more from you guys. But I've listened to Dream Theater and Nightwish and some other bands that have this powerful theater-esque style of songwriting and performance and composition and arrangement that is theater of the mind, where grandioso stage presence, etc., etc. This to me is it stands on its own with like the potential, with like the capabilities of a complete, I don't know what you call it, new metal rock opera type. Like somebody's got to get it together and write a musical and get these guys on it, because the composition skills, the harmonies, the vocals, the chord changes, and some of the passages. I mean, in my mind, the way my mind, I write music. I'm theater of the mind. You've heard me say this a few times. I write in here, not here. I don't write theory. I learned theory 40 years ago for a minute, and I chucked it. Never looked back at it once ever again. And so I write theater of the mind. And so when I hear music like this, it evokes images in my mind, as we all do as the pure listener. Whenever we're listening to our favorite tracks, it evokes these images in the mind. And in this case, I would pay $1 to see maybe like Periphery or something of this nature of music manage a complete metal rock opera piece. And I'm not talking about regurgitating some other old one. I'm talking about something that stands for where our world is at now and everything. And these guys can pull that off. And I'm not saying the others can't. I'm just saying this is just my channel, my opinion, right? And I'm sure that there are other bands out there that are just, as on the cutting edge of composition. But what I'm experiencing right now is it's mind-numbing. It's truly an experience. I'm not. I'm getting on to the goober part, but anyhow, let's go back and continue this, man. Just crazy. All right, I think we only got a couple minutes left, but I wanted to stop there because this was something else that's just totally sick about what I'm hearing, is that they ventured into a little bit more of the digital editing aspect and trickery of tone manipulation, chopping words up. I did hear some what I would consider trap style sounding percussion kind of maybe pop in and out, as a former drummer. I try to keep a really super keen ear that I think I know that I'm hearing with the capabilities of a drummer, but that's just me being an old decomposer trying to figure out what's happening in a new world of music. And nothing is sacrilege if you do have a little bit of trap work going on in the back, if it's for the editing, if it's for the purpose of the final song, but it's not an overemphasized aspect of the arrangement that can be easily missed if they go out and play live and still can execute something as intense as this. But as with my little engineer ears, I can hear that going on there, and I really appreciate that about this, is that they've really transcended not only orchestral, compositional, arrangement, musicianship, and performance abilities, but they weren't afraid to risk, not risky, to explore the opportunity or the options to do what I just heard. And this is just great. This is just, I'm having a blast. Okay, we're almost done with this, and then I'll yammer just a little bit and then break out for the day, but let's finish this up. This was a top to bottom, just unbelievable journey. I almost felt like at the very end, I wanted to hear some kind of, thanks for writing your journey. You are now exiting at the, and I don't mean that in a crap way. I mean that in a completely open, closed, complete journey that they just took me on, and you guys get to witness. I don't know, my man boobs are sweating or something. I feel like I really went for a ride here. Excuse me. I think I want to circle back and just say, this was an amazing, and God, so many people were telling me about this track, for the last couple months. I kept on putting it off to the side because I knew it would be a long listen, but at the end of the day, when the universe is supposed to do what it does, and I did that Halo video and Periphery and then all that stuff, this was the time to do it for me. You know, I did say that, you know, without a doubt, this is one of the most amazing hybrid composition pieces that took us through so many journeys and different little passages and really expressed such intense skillsmanship in composition, arrangement, musician, engineering. I could probably talk about this for another hour, actually, if I really dissected it, but you know, that's not my jam, and I'm a little tired right now. I'm just a little overwhelmed in a good way. Now, I did say earlier I have never heard of a band that has done anything like this before, and please, I want to just circle back and say, remember, I have very limited knowledge. I'm sure that there are other bands and orchestrators and composers that have done pieces of work that reach these heights. And so, but this is my very first, you know, what I would call double down exposure to something this powerful. So I really do count on you guys for leaving some comments if you want me to, you know, check out some other bands that have very similar, you know, complete, you know, powerful pieces like this. I'd be more than happy to check it out and stuff. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for hanging in there. This was a long ass video. If you're still here, type in Reptile, Awwwright, with 3 W's. That's my logo thing. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's just such a killer, just a mental journey for me to hanging out with you guys and just enjoying. And I got to tell you one last thing. I so appreciate the time and energy that you guys spend. You got better things to do with an hour or 40 minutes and stuff. And the fact that you spend, whether it's 30 seconds to not even listen to this, but you type in your favorite thing or you like it because you just want to encourage me to keep going and stuff like that. Because, you know, a lot of times I'll get like 25 likes, 9 comments saying, hey, it was great, try this, and realize, well, the video hasn't even played all the way through. But it's your encouragement, though, and that does, I have no snickering about that. I like, they're really prodding me to do it, you know. So anyhow, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for the support. Cup of coffee if you see so fit, if you want to buy. The song, their discography, their Spotify will be in the links below. Also, some new social media channels I've opened up if you want to bomb me with some of your suggestions will also be below. So anyhow, a very wound down old decomposer wrapping it up and saying, all right.